All right, today's video is a chatty work with me. The topic, Poshmark and productivity. I'm gonna set a timer for 25 minutes. I'm gonna go through my security pile and kind of sort things through. So make basically 3 piles, one to hold on to as a security pile, which I always wanna have now since I didn't have one before COVID. And then I also wanna have a donate pile. And then I wanna have a pile of lookup. Like maybe it's kind of like a up in the air. We're not really sure, but this video is about an hour long. We're gonna spend about 25 minutes up here. We're gonna take a 5-minute break and I'll hang out with you during my break, maybe talk a little personal stuff. And then we're gonna go downstairs and start working on my shipping. Tonight is Sunday and I have to go somewhere early in the morning, so I'm gonna take my shipping with me. But how does that sound? All right, so hopefully you can work with me or you can just listen, whatever you wanna do, but let's get to work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm only doing that because I'm going to put a timer on the screen. Also, I know you're really jealous of my electrical cords, but you know, that's on my to-do list once I get some of this organized. So this is my security pile. Some would call it a death pile. I didn't have a death pile before COVID. And then I learned very quickly that it's actually not bad to have a pile of stuff in case you need to list. So we're going to go through this stuff. I'm going to make 3 piles. Keep in my security pile, meaning I will list it someday. Donate or look up and decide later. All right. So this bin is stuff that I had listed for over 2 years. I took the listing down. I thought it was semi-decent stuff, so I thought I'd move it to my security pile, but we'll go through it again because that was a while ago. So today's topic, my concept here is like, I can talk about a topic and then maybe throw in some stuff that I'm kind of experiencing and reselling throughout my week. So, you know, maybe a fun sale or a terrible return or stuff like that. So I feel like the beginning will be around the topic in the title. And then maybe the second half will be more like me talking reselling, what's going on with me and reselling right now. Also, I can get out of breath when I talk too much, so that's going to be fun. This is going to stay in my security pile. We're gonna put that right there. I'm wearing a microphone because my house can get echoey, especially if you're away from the filming. So I thought it would be a better experience for you all to stay in security. So, and all of this stuff has been listed or in a haul or something. So I'm not really here to show you all this junk, but maybe someday. So I figured I would start with the topic of Poshmark because Poshmark, I've said multiple times that Poshmark frustrates me. Poshmark is my least favorite platform to sell on. I've said this in Q&As, I've said this on Instagram, I've said this on lives. And I always get people asking like, why don't you like Poshmark? It's so easy. So I thought, you know, why don't I just talk about that for a little bit? Because I don't think it's an easy answer. And to be perfectly clear, I don't hate Poshmark. I dislike multiple things about Poshmark. And I think every platform and every technology site has flaws. I'm not naive to that. But I do think that what frustrates me about Poshmark is a lot of my issues are solvable with very little developer work. I actually worked at 2 startups in Silicon Valley and San Francisco. And so I'm familiar with the long lists that need to be done and the lack of developer time and prioritizing what is most important to accomplish. And I know it's not going to be perfect. And they're technically not a startup anymore. They're publicly traded. But I think that what my frustration is my suspicion has always been they are utilizing a metric that a lot of startups use in the beginning, which is called time on site or time on app. And all right, these are all okay. These are all staying on my security pile. Why do startups use that metric? It's because more than likely startups start out and they aren't making money and they're trying to prove to investors, whether it's Series A or Series B or Series C, the different levels of getting investors involved. They're trying to convince them that they're going in the right direction. So they use these metrics like time on site and time on app to show people, these investors or potential investors, that, hey, people really like our product. They're going to stay on, they're going to keep using us, and you should invest in us. And while that is helpful in the beginning, once Poshmark started making money, I feel like that should have been dropped. They should have become more concerned about the bottom line and the dollars than wasting people's time on the app. Now, if they were maybe going into a direction of running ads, then that would still be an important metric, but I just think they haven't lost it. My biggest gripe is I think they have an identity crisis. Like, do they want to be a social media company, or do they want to be a business platform where people can sell product, pre-owned or new product? I don't think they know. And maybe they do. From an outsider perspective, it looks like they're just having an identity crisis. They don't know who they are. Now, to be perfectly clear, I've sold over 4,000 items on Poshmark. I think it has a lot of pros, and I share those pros at times when I talk about the app. We all know that if you're going to bundle a whole bunch of items, the shipping on bundling is fantastic, which is great. I think that's a great deal for the buyer. It's great for the seller when people can buy multiple things. I think it's a great thing. Now, the problem is I don't know what percentage of my sales, we've got to move my poof because we got to use this space. I don't know what percentage of my sales is a single item, but I would happily say it's over 90% on eBay and Poshmark. It's over, this stuff is stuff that I just recently got. That's like my list pile. We don't even want to talk about this. All right, moving on. So I think that, where was I at? Poshmark is easy to start. I guess let's compare it to something. So if you're a new reseller, Poshmark is, in my opinion, one of the best to start with because it's just so easy. It's easy to list. It's easy to ship. They just send you a label. You don't really have to think about anything. They even have a really great new feature, relatively new, where they give you a suggested price, which I think is phenomenal. It's not always accurate, but I think it's helpful for new people who don't know how to look up comps. So they do a lot of things for newbies, but I think with hot sauce, maybe it's because I've got this light on me and I'm starting to get toasty. I should not have worn a sweatshirt. Maybe it's like hot sauce. You don't usually just jump into hot sauces and be like, let's go for the hottest. You usually build up to it and you start with a pretty easy one. And then that becomes a little too boring, not as exciting, no longer hot. So you're like, I want more complexity. I want more flavor. I like this pepper. I don't like that pepper. You just start knowing yourself. And I think that, I don't even know what this is. You're going into donate. I'm already out of breath. This is already going to be entertaining for me. Ooh, oh my gosh. This is the best thing ever. Okay. Side note, this pair of pants I just sold, and I was about to send her a message saying I can't find it. So I sold this pair of pants on eBay. The girl returned it, and she said there was this very small alteration. And I said in my listing that it ran small. Anyways, they're Adriana Goldschmidt. They didn't sell for much the first time. They didn't sell for much this time, but I thought I was going to have to cancel. Oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. See, I'm already getting a lot done. So I think that with hot sauce, it's fun. It's nice to start in an easy place, but a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, you're like, that's not even hot for me anymore. That's not even worth my time. I have now progressed to this more complex type of hot sauce. And I think that with me, it took me about 6 months of going, this is really lacking so much. Now, keep in mind, I've sold over 4,000 items, and I sold my first item July 1st of 2018. And I actually downloaded the app almost a year previous to that. And what is wrong with this? Am I ever going to put a ribbon in here? No, it's going in the donate. So I think that my very first experience, I know that my very first experience with Poshmark was, I tried to purchase a pair of jeans, Levi's, that I like to wear. My mom was the one that told me about it. And she's like, you like these Levi's, why don't you just try and find them cheaper on Poshmark? So I went on, I think it was August of 2017 or something like that. Anyways, so I purchased it. I didn't hear anything. I totally forgot about it. And all of a sudden I realized I never got those jeans. What happened to those jeans? Weeks had passed. And finally I'm like, they never shipped. I went into the app. I didn't know how it worked. The girl never shipped them. And I never complained because I wasn't paying attention. So So typical of me. So I reached out to Poshmark, and I will give them so much credit in saying, even though it had passed the point of like complaining, they did give me my money back. And at that point, I just deleted the app. I'm like, well, people aren't even sending me stuff. Like, why am I going to waste my time? Anyways, all right. So no, we are not. So that was my first time on Poshmark as a buyer. And then I decided, when I left San Francisco and I was kind of bored, I had just bought this house. I didn't have many friends here. So I was like, oh, it'd be nice to sell some things online. And I was thinking eBay, but I was like, why don't you try Poshmark again? So I did. And I found the community on YouTube, and the rest is history. I mean, that's just been the community on YouTube to learn how to be a reseller was fantastic in the beginning. And so anyways, I feel like I can give you a lot of pros and a lot of cons. Recently, I mean, my biggest complaint around Poshmark has always been they are wasting my time. They wasted so many hours of my life with the sharing that could have been automated with a developer in one day. And so I've got a lot of bitter feelings in my taste, bitter feelings in my mouth, whatever. Because I feel like they wasted so much of my time. Now these days, everyone's talking about bots. You know, not many people who are doing this all the time are really sharing themselves, but you have a lot of new people to the platform that are still wasting that time. Now, I know that one of the hot topics in the community right now, this video is not about that, but I will comment, there's some confusion around how the app is filtering things when someone searches for something. So I know that I watched Amber Resells. Hey girl, she's one of my good friends. I watched her video a couple months ago when they first started doing some unexpected testing, and it kind of made people panic of, does this mean they're getting rid of sharing? Why am I still sharing if it's not sorting by just shared? And so she had done a little bit of like shared that on YouTube, but then it ended up not being the case. They were still, maybe they were just testing something. Well, right now, it looks like people are, instead of, when you do a search, instead of showing everything in order of just shared, which is why we share things so they go up to the top, it's now showing things in different ways. So some people are getting recommended, some people are getting just shared still. I think there's two other options. Anyways, Amber's been sharing it on her Instagram, and then I'll link her video if it's still up. That she did before to kind of explain it, because I'm doing a terrible job. But basically, I think that what they're doing is doing some beta testing to see if maybe there's a way to get rid of sharing, which is great. I would love that. Again, I feel very bitter that they wasted so many hours of my life on something that I would have happily paid for. So anyways, where are we at? We have 12 minutes left. I am making progress. So this is actually turning out to be a really great thing. So that's kind of the drama that's going on right now. While I'm very much for them getting rid of sharing, I think the biggest concern for myself and other people is they need to figure out a way to have search be better. So when someone searches for an item, that it actually pulls the best item for that person and not some like whatever. So anyways, I know a lot of people are concerned about it. I'm not concerned. I sell on eBay though, and that's actually where I make most of my money, even though everything is cross-listed to both. eBay is less time consuming, and I've been selling there less, and I've actually made a little bit more. So I really like having two platforms, and I like the diversity of Poshmark. It's just a different vibe. I'm not big into the community stuff. I'm not big in social media in general in my personal life, but there's pros to it, and I like that. So we've got this one is overflowing over here. So anyways, I think that Poshmark has a lot of good things going for it, and I will forever be hopeful for them. I will forever be hopeful that they will continue to make improvements. My main issue, like I've heard people talk about, well, they want to utilize sharing so it's even across the board. So no matter if you've been on the app for 3 years or one day, you have an even chance of getting your items sold. And while I understand that concept, I don't actually agree with it, because if you take a look at, there's a limit of how much sharing you can do per day. And since I have 1,200 items in my closet, I can only have every item shared 2-3 times a day. versus if I have 5 items listed in my closet, I can have those shared all day, every day, and they're always at the top. So I almost feel like sometimes the more work you put into the platform, the more items you have listed, the harder it is to keep your items at the top if they're still utilizing that metric, which who knows, maybe they're changing that. But I've always just felt very frustrated by so much. Like I'm spending hours of my life, or I used to, hours of my life sharing because I put all this work in to list more, because I've learned to ship on time and write descriptions well and have decent lighting and all of this stuff and care about the customers and that they're getting a good product. And then I feel like I'm being penalized because I'm having to spend way more time doing this automated or this automatic thing that could be automated. So yeah, the other thing about Poshmark, let's see, I feel like I lose my train of thought often. The community stuff, it's a waste for me. If you're really new to the app, it can be fun and exciting, but at the end of the day, I think it feels like at times they're trying to get people to sell things out of their own closet, where that person's going to list the stuff, sell the stuff, get a credit. They're going to use that credit back on the app so that basically they get double the fees. They get the fees of their item that they just sold, and then they get the fees of the items that they just bought. So it's like this rotation versus helping business sellers, and you guys can disagree, you guys can leave some comments, helping business sellers by making things more efficient for us. Lululemon leggings, anyone? I don't know. These are just in my security pile. Rick Owens, anyone? Jeez, Courtney. Jeez, why are we like this? I don't actually, this is all my death pile, and I do want to have a death pile or a security pile, but it's just amazing what I don't get to. Purple Label, Ralph Lauren. Anyways, I think these all need a little bit of like depilling or something. So I think that Poshmark has a lot of potential. I will forever be hopeful. I will never be team Poshmark. I prefer eBay far and beyond, just because of the data, because of the automation, because they treat me like a business seller. They treat me with respect of my time. So I will always prefer eBay, but I'm not giving up on Poshmark. And while I'm hard on Poshmark, it's because I hope that maybe they'll listen to us over time and that they'll make some improvements. And I think they already have. So, it's one of those things that I think not everyone's going to have the same life or experience. If you are selling out of your own closet, I can't even believe this. Stella McCartney, Brunello Cucinelli. Why have I not gotten to this pile? Why? Anyways, I will forever be hopeful. And if they make a change to sharing and they get rid of that, I do hope they find a way for people to, earn their way up to the top. By good ratings, by quick ship time, by whatever. And that's another complaint about Poshmark. Everyone kind of talks about, well, there's no returns and there's, where do I put this? I'll just put it back right here. It's empty. So I'm already making progress. But a lot of people don't like returns. They say that, they're always siding with the seller, or a lot of times they side with the seller. And there's a lot of things like that, like not having to worry about shipping. I actually would prefer returns. I allow them. As long as I don't lose money, I'm okay with it. As a buyer, I like returns. So I think maybe that's why I'm very pro returns. I know it's an inconvenience, it's a hassle, but if more people are going to shop with confidence, I would rather that than people, we're looking at 7 minutes. I'm trying to keep an eye. We're looking at people, basically they're getting stuck with something that for whatever reason doesn't work, and they might not come back to the app. So I would rather people get a good experience. Like I just had some guy that I was this weird return, maybe I'll talk about it later, on eBay. And it was like for a $10 phone case, and he returned it, and I lost the money to ship the item there and ship the item back and whatever. It happens rarely, but it happens. Anyways, but he left me positive feedback to say the return makes me trust this system again, or something like that. And I do think there's something to be said for that. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons Amazon has been so successful, because people know that if something doesn't work out, they can return it. So while as a seller, it is nice to not deal with returns, as a buyer, I buy on eBay because of that reason. Because I want to know that if it doesn't work out, I'm not out the money. And okay, I mean, to be fair, I can just resell stuff. So there is an advantage of being a reseller, but you know, it's kind of the principle. A lot of people don't want to resell. Like I know Poshmark has that thing where it's like, you can relist this item if you don't like it. And it's like, I know my sisters, they won't go into a thrift store. They won't sell anything. It's just not their thing. They don't like it. They would rather donate. It doesn't make them a bad person. And I think a lot of people are like that. They want it gone. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, if there's any other hot topic with Poshmark. I think they're going to continue to make improvements. I think that my bitterness will always kind of linger. It's kind of like a lot of people who have been on eBay forever. Even though I think eBay has a lot of things going for it, the people who remember the days of eBay when they didn't, when it was not that great, you know, they're just always having that like negative cloud over their experience. And I think I'm always going to have a little bit of a negative cloud of Poshmark over my head because I have such frustration over the amount of time wasted on the social nonsense. And that's kind of like what I think half of Poshmark is just social nonsense. And I know people left me comments saying, am I seriously going to deal with a pink gown? What brand is this? Not worth it. No. So, you know, a lot of people like the social stuff. They like the Posh Fest. They like the community. What are those things called? The Posh parties and they even have the Posh lives and stuff. I have gone to eBay Open. I really enjoyed that experience because they had seminars from a business perspective that I could learn. And I was really excited about that. I knew I could talk to someone about my own store. I was really excited about that. I really like being treated as a business owner and being treated with respect like that. And I just don't get that same vibe. But they can all have their own vibes. So it's not to say that someone's bad for liking Poshmark. Again, most of my reselling friends are mainly Poshmark sellers. So if someone were starting reselling today, would I tell them to start on Poshmark or eBay? I'm not even including Mercari because I just didn't like it myself. So, or Depop or any of that kind of stuff. Like it's, you know, I'm really just focusing on the two that I mainly work on. I think it depends. I think if I knew the person, I would know, like, okay, here's a perfect example. My friend, I'm not going to name her. She's one of my San Francisco friends. She follows me on social media. I don't think she watches this channel, but she's been really supportive. She'll occasionally like heart one of my stories or, you know, she's just super sweet. And it's been, I don't know, 4.5 years since I left San Francisco. So I miss my friends. And so it's just nice when their names pop up. She sent me a message and she's like, hey girl, I want to sell some old clothing. And I want to sell it on Poshmark, but I have a few questions. Is it okay if I ask? No one ever asked me in my personal life about this stuff. So I'm like, of course. So she asked me a few questions and basically it came down to, I just want to list something, but I don't want to do the sharing stuff. Like, is that really required? I don't really have time. She has 2 new babies. She works full time in the tech industry in San Francisco. She doesn't have time. But she likes the platform. She likes to buy off of it. And I said to her, well, I'm not going to lie. So I gave her this like long response. I was like, well, if you don't want to share yourself, totally fine. Are we doing okay on volume here? Totally fine. You can get this bot. Here's one. It'll keep your stuff shared. You could set it up this way. I gave her this whole long detailed response. And she said, you know what? I don't have time for that. This is too complicated. I'm just going to donate my stuff. And it just like bummed me out because here's someone who does like to sell on the platform, but the one thing keeping her from it was just the amount of time that was required, and she doesn't have it. And I don't know if there's a solution. I just don't, but I do think that, again, I am hopeful that Poshmark will, this is still part of my security pile. I am hopeful that Poshmark will continue to evaluate, maybe hopefully get more and more feedback. They've made some good changes. I think they need to make some more. And if they get rid of sharing, I hope they have a good way for people to find items, because I think that is, okay, my mom gave this to me and I really just need to hang it and list it. That's what I'm not gonna list it right now, but I'm gonna hang it because then maybe I'm already out of breath. this is great. Just in case anyone wants a craft, what is this? Marshmallow? It's a vintage sleeping bag. I don't know where, I think she got this from a family member. I get free stuff all the time, and I have no shame in what I sell. I sold a sleeping bag that was, I think she looked up the comps for this, and I think she said I should be able to get 20 or 30 plus shipping. I could be wrong, but anyways, we're gonna finally get this dealt with. I'm gonna put it up here. Man, this is not gonna be a good photo. We're not dealing with it right now, but that's so I don't forget about it. No. Okay, I need a better one. Alrighty. So I think that, there's a lot of different Poshmark sellers, a lot of people with different preferences. I'm glad to see that they're testing some stuff. Testing isn't easy. I hope they do a better job communicating, because I don't think they're really communicating much right now. I don't think anyone needs to press any panic buttons right now. Right now, my understanding is some people, what do we think? Do we think we should list it? I certainly am. If I can at least get $20 plus shipping, it was free. That is A-okay with me. All right, what are we doing with this? I know the time. Let's check the timer. My computer went blank, and if I had one of those really cool, whatever they're called, the kind of manual. Oh, that's it. I missed the timer. All right, great. I really need to get that manual. Let's take a break, go downstairs, go see what the dog's doing. Wanna come sit by me? Aw, thank you, boo. Thank you. How are you doing? Were you just sunning? Keeping an eye on the house, doing your job? Right? I know, because you're such a good dog. I know, right? All right, so normally I take my break as not filming myself, but to keep you company for your 5-minute break, I thought that I would just talk a little personal stuff, non-reselling for this break, and then I'll go back to reselling topic when we start working on some shipping. So why am I doing kind of these different videos? So I actually put out a video a week ago, and it didn't do well as far as watch time. I got a lot of positive feedback, and I really appreciate that from everyone, but I think that what works or what helps us be motivated and productive kind of varies. And I think I went too far extreme. And so I did a 2-hour work with me with just music overlaid. And I reached out to 2 of my good reselling YouTuber friends, Amber and Tracy. And I said, can you guys be kind of brutally honest and give me your feedback? And everything they said was pretty much what my suspicion was after looking at the data and going, okay, this style of video helps me get motivated and stay focused, but I don't think it will translate to the people viewing this channel. And YouTube is a weird space. On one hand, you want to make content that you enjoy. On the other hand, you also want to make content that other people will enjoy. And so it's this tough juggling act if you are trying to kind of make everyone happy. But every 6 months or so, I just get very uninspired with my content, and it's fine. I mean, it's just, any creative element, I think you just have those ups and downs. And one of the things I've been working on personally recently within the last couple months has been organizing and productivity. And I really feel like it's been helping me to stay focused, and I wanted to kind of share that with you guys because I know a lot of people in the reselling space struggle with motivation and just getting stuff done. And so I did what was helping me without really thinking too much in advance of what does the majority of the people want from me. And I feel like I get tired of myself talking, but I feel like one thing I don't talk about is just reselling stuff at times. I do in Q&A videos, and you guys seem to like that. And I get a lot of questions, but I figured, well, if I could pair the two. So maybe it was I wasn't talking enough. And it just got to be a little too boring and people clicked off of it because it wasn't really motivating them. They didn't know what to expect. But can I still help solve this problem for myself and other people of just getting work done, but also add some entertainment and, talk about some topics that I think people are interested in. And I'm not sure if people want my opinion, but I'm not shy to share. And I also think that's one of the reasons I jumped on YouTube. Ultimately, the main reason I jumped on YouTube was to potentially have a revenue stream, and that worked out okay for me, but it's no guarantee. So I looking back, that probably was a mistake. Of just the amount of time you have to invest before it actually makes sense financially. But come. Luna, you want to come say hi? Luna, what do you see? Do you see Bob? Luna, do you see Bob? Okay, there she goes. I'm sorry, Bo, you just got tangled? Come here. What do? You want to say hi? Okay, sorry to stress you out. I really need to start taking some sips of water because this is a lot of talking for me. I live alone and I live in the middle of nowhere, it feels like. So that's also a question I get all the time. Do you have neighbors? Yes, I live in a community of about 2,500 people. And where I live, like my part, we all have about 2 to 5 acre properties. So, it's, we're relatively spread out, but my neighbors are great. They check in on me every once in a while, not like annoy me, but, just, hey, how's it going? And, let me know if there's a wild animal running loose, which is every other day. But anyways, the break is almost up. So let's go inside. Let's get to shipping. All right. So this is the time of the day where the lighting is most questionable, but I don't know. I kind of like the ambiance. So hopefully you do too. Usually sit outside when it's really nice weather, but not when I'm working on shipping. So we're going to get another timer going so that we stay on track, because for me, this has been really helpful. It's called the Pomodoro method. And basically I set a timer for about 25 minutes and take a 5-minute break. Or I will set a timer for 45 minutes and take a 15-minute break. So it just depends on my mood. But this is where I like to work, just because I do have usually most days a decent view and it makes me happy. But let's set the timer so we can get chatty with it again, but actually get some work done. Hopefully nothing's too blocking too much. Also, I'm using, I don't remember what this timer is called, to be honest. There's no name on it, but I will write it down in the comments below. All right, we are gonna do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. All right, it's only because I want to give you guys a timer so you have something to look at. So I already got some of my stuff that I need to ship out tomorrow. I pulled that from my inventory. I have a few things over there that are already packaged up. So these I'm just gonna lint roll. And I don't know how long this will take me. I can't remember. I think this weekend so far I have like, I don't know, 15 things. I did take my shipping on Friday. So this is Friday evening through Sunday evening now. So I did write some notes just in case I was like for sure going to forget anything. I did just want to say though that I'm trying to bring in productivity for both myself to share some different content, but also hopefully help motivate other people. But maybe this style will work best of just talking through different topics. And maybe I'll even do a poll on Instagram of what the next video will be. Maybe one of these each week where you guys can see me actually working and how I do certain things, but you can also hear me talk about certain things. And if you're like me and you don't like the talking, or if there's a day that you can't take the talking, but you want to see someone working with you, which is what I prefer, I'm not offended. You could just mute me and put on your own music. But then you can have me there and I'm still working right next to you. So anyways, let me know in the comments if you guys like this style so far. As far as Poshmark, I'm always going to be hopeful that they will continue making improvements. And right now, I just hit $100,000 in sales, and I hit that on eBay already. So again, Poshmark is my breakdown right now. Is eBay's my top revenue stream, YouTube is my second, and then Poshmark comes in third. And it can be discouraging at times, but I'm still there. I still put in a lot of work, and I still do like the ease of certain things. I like the bundle feature. I like the ease of the app and that type of stuff. And so Poshmark, if you're ever listening to me, I am hopeful that you will continue to make improvements and don't mess up the sharing thing. I think a lot of people will be upset if their sales start tanking, but all right. So what are other things? So I was just talking about kind of this switch up as far as this style of video. I'm still going to do thrift with me's because I love sharing those with you guys, and you guys seem to like it. And so hopefully that'll be my next one. Actually, I think my next one will be I went to a $2, every item of clothing was $2. And so that will be the next video. I got some footage in the thrift store, but it was pretty chaotic, so I didn't get all the footage. So I'll probably have to share some of the finds here at home. So, but yeah, I'm excited about that because that's bins pricing for me. But you can like sift through racks, and that store is really always nice to me. The employees there know that I'm on YouTube, and the manager knows, and they're always just super friendly. And I don't get to go there all the time, but yeah. So fun find recently at that $2. So this will be in an upcoming video. You'll just get a spoiler. I found this jacket. Also, there's quite a few things I can do and talk at the same time, and shipping is one of them. But that's not really the point of this video. So hopefully that makes sense. Just something for me to be productive, and also, you know, you guys are keeping me company. So in a weird way, I know. But so I found this jacket, and it was a Dickies jacket, but it had this embroidery on the back. Also, this is going to someone, and they sent me such a lovely note. So if I notice that someone that watches this channel bought something, I'll just say thank you here. Okay, waiting shipment. So I'm working on it. This actually was purchased by Darlene. Darlene, thank you so much. I saw your note, and I was so excited to see the nice note, and this is getting shipped out tomorrow. So, but there's a little string, so we're just gonna get rid of that. So anyways, I found this Metallica jacket. I didn't know it was Metallica. It doesn't say it on it. It says Seek and Destroy on the back. And on the front, it had like some weird lightning bolt, or I can't remember. Anyways, so I'm like, well, Dickies. Okay, I'm just gonna Google Seek and Destroy Dickies jacket. And sure enough, one had sold in the last 90 days for like $59 or something around there on auction. I was like, sold, $2, I can turn it into maybe 60, great, none listed. And then I got home after I repurchased it, and I went into the Tehachapi to look at the research or the solds from the last 365 days. Here are those pants that I thought I lost. I'm so excited. Anyways, and so I saw that one had sold for $99. There were 3 solds in the last year, none listed. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And one person has it listed as a Metallica crew jacket. This one is probably the worst one for me to do right now because it's black, and I feel like I lint roll for an hour for every black item. Anyone else feel that same way? Anyways, so I did not put in my listing that it was a crew jacket because I can't verify that. But apparently it's between 55 and 100 is what I'm expecting. I aimed high because there's none other listed. I decided not to do an auction just because I have enough comps that I have a pretty good understanding that that's what I'm gonna get. I don't know how quickly it will sell, but that was kind of a fun find. What else? Oh, the return phone case. Oh my gosh. Okay, so one of those times a long time ago where I was at the bins, hard goods, I found all these new inbox phone cases. And I would say, rule of thumb, don't pick up phone cases. More than likely it's an old style for an old phone. Personally, I don't pick them up. But these ones had this weird, like, where it was like a case that closed and it would show the time on the outside. I can't remember the language, but basically it kind of looked a little different for a phone case. So I decided to look them up. And sure enough, some of them were selling for $20 to $30. I was like, great, these are like way nothing. So I picked up, I don't know, 5 of them, 6 of them. And so long ago. Anyways, I listed all of them. They all sold, I want to say, for about $20 to $30. And so it was a good pickup. Well, then I found one that I forgot to sell, or I don't know what happened to it. I found one like 6 months ago, and I still had an extra. So I was like, oh, I'll list these, or I'll list this. It was an easy listing. So I did, and someone bought it. It took a while to sell that one, but someone finally bought it, and it only sold for like $10. And I think it was just the comps had changed or something. Anyways, so the guy buys it, probably $4 to ship, and he buys it, and then he opens up this item not as described case, which if you're not familiar with eBay is not the return case you want open because it can affect your account negatively. Now, if you can prove otherwise, you can get out of it. But so I'm never really too worried. But anyways, he's like, you have to accept them. You can't fight it or like, you just have to accept the return. And he's basically saying, my phone doesn't fit in there. And I'm like, what does this guy mean? It's brand new in a sealed package. What in the world? So I accept the return because you have to. And then I get the thing and I'm like busting this thing open going, what in the world is this guy saying? Sure enough, there was like this battery pack. So like a phone case, I don't have one. It's on the phone right now. A phone case, you should be able to like put it in or slide it in or something. This had this battery pack on half of it. So the phone could not fit. And if you tried to take the battery pack out, that was what's going to light up the outside. I Googled this thing. I was like, what in the world is wrong with this thing? There's no phone can fit in it. So the funny thing is this guy, he ended up leaving me positive feedback because I accepted the return. He has no idea I had to, but whatever. But I was so bitter at first. But like that's an example of where, like, okay, at least he was telling the truth and it wasn't my fault. It was a sealed package. I didn't know any better. So it's just the strangest thing, I did lose the money on shipping, but that's just kind of cost of doing business at times, and it rarely happens. And at least he was being honest, and it really was just like either a defective item or something. But anyways, so that one was fun. I also had a really fun sale this week. So I have a timer going, right? Oh man, I feel like I can't keep track of today. So I was at the bins probably a year ago, and it was like right after COVID, right after the bins started reopening with COVID. And so everyone's kind of like one bin to each person, and they've got the strict rules at that time. And so I like looking at hard goods. I don't pick up a lot, but if I have the time, I'll look in the hard good bins. And I found this like really heavy book, and I didn't even know what it was. It just said Witcher on it. And I was like, well, that looks intriguing. It was like in a box. It was a book in a box. And I was like, well, I'm going to open this and see what this is. So I opened it, and it's this giant, heavy book with all this colorful stuff. Anyways, I was like, I don't know what you are, but I'm going to look you up because you look intriguing. Sure enough, I found some solds over 100. And I was like, you are coming with me. And this location, their hard goods are like 60 something per pound. So, it weighed a bit. I think it weighed like 7 pounds or something. I can't remember. Anyway, so it was heavy, maybe 10 pounds. It was heavy, but with the comps, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely taking a risk on this. Well, I've had it listed. I had a lot of likes. I had a lot of lowball offers. I listed high because there was none other with this weird charm that was inside. And so this charm inside, I was like, well, if it's got this extra fun charm, I'm going to price this thing up to $239. I don't know why I do certain things. I just don't. But anyways, so it had a lot of interest, a lot of lowball offers. I was like, I am holding out for this charm. Courtney, you are sometimes a terrible reseller. Like, you get a $150 offer. I think most of the offers were right around 100. So anyways, but finally, a month ago, a guy buys it outright. And I was like, great. 15 minutes later, sends me a message. Can you please make sure to package this safely and securely in a double box? And he goes on and on and on telling me how to ship. And I was just always like, oh gosh, okay. I have made a shipping mistake and broken something. So I'm not perfect, but I feel like I've gotten better and I'm trying to be thoughtful of product. So anyways, I didn't respond to him. And then 2 hours goes by and he just cancels the whole thing. And I'm just like, oh man. So I lost that, relisted it. Sure enough, it sold. I don't know what I think it's a TV show or a movie, Witcher. It sold for $239. I got that label ready so he couldn't cancel it. I got that label done in 5 minutes. I was like, you are not going to cancel this on me, buddy. It was a different guy, but I guess I was just like, we are not going to have this cancel again. Anyways, I was really excited about that. There were some dings to the outside of the box, which I noted. I always feel like I'm very insecure when I ship something like that out, because I always go back to the listing and I'm like, did I note this exact spot? And I don't note every exact spot. I always just say like, signs of wear on the box, see the close-up pictures or, zoom into pictures to reference, like, because you only have 12 photos on eBay. And when you're trying to take pictures of a book and different pages and a figurine and the outside of the box and all of this stuff, you go through that really quickly. So anyways, fingers crossed he likes it. But I probably paid $10 for it. And I sat on it for a year because I'm me and, you know, imperfect. But I'm really happy about that one. What else? Oh man, we're going to talk about this True Religion hat because I know it was in a bins thrift with me. I was really excited. I found it at the bins. I don't know what sparked me wanting to look up a True Religion hat, but I was like, I've never seen a True Religion hat. Like, let's see what that's worth. Maybe $20. It's the bins. Great. Easy listing. I have a hat mannequin, so I like picking up hats. When I looked it up in the bins, some of them were selling from $100 to $400. I was like, what in the world? So I showed it in that haul. I was really excited about it. And I think I listed it. What did I list it for? We need a little. Oh, I put it on auction. That's right. Okay. So I put it on auction. I started at $49. Don't ask me why, but I start so many of my auction items at $49. When do I put something on auction? When I know it has value, but I don't know the exact value. That's usually when. So take a dance pepper grinder that's vintage. I'll start it at $49 and people will bid it up to $200 or whatever happens. Or it'll sell at $49 or $49. So, you know, I only put those rare items that I feel like there's a demand for it, but I'm just not quite sure how high. And I don't price too high. Like I know certain things are going to sell for around $200, but I don't want to price at $200 because I'm just not confident. And so I always pick something like, would I be okay if it sold at this price? $49, I picked it up at the bins, I paid $1. Yes, I would be happy with $50 and a sale in 7 days. So that's kind of my mentality, and you may agree or disagree, and that's totally fine. But this hat, I did that same thing. I listed it at $49, 7-day auction, and it got bid up to $139 or $137 or something like that. I was stoked. I was so excited. Well then, and this, I know there are going to be so many people that are like, that always happens to me on eBay and that's why I don't sell on eBay anymore. And I know this is going to be it, but they didn't pay. And so I waited the 7 days or whatever it is, and I canceled the order. And also they did have zero feedback, but most of my zero feedback people pay. Like that's not a deterrent for me. But so I blocked that guy. I canceled it. There's a ding on his account. I relisted it. I'm confident it's going to sell again. Well, it sold again, but this time it only sold for $119. I was like, whatever, let's get it out. Let's get it going. Sure enough, different buyer, different area. Because at that point I could already see it was like I could already see that both of their contact information, not the same state, not the same person since I blocked him. Guy didn't pay either. It's like, it was almost like someone was playing a trick on me. And maybe they were. Like sometimes I wonder, being on YouTube, if those things ever happen, like someone just like, oh, she got this hat, she thinks it's going to sell for a lot. I don't know. Is that weird of me? But I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened again. Why is this happening? Like this has never happened to me on eBay. It rarely happens that someone doesn't pay. Like maybe it takes me a few days, but most of the time, 99% of the time, let's say 97% of the time, let's be a little more generous, they will pay. And so I was like, this is just crazy. So then I decided I'm done with these auctions, because if it's an auction, you can't really determine if it's a zero feedback person. This time I'm going to put it on buy it now, best offer. I'm going to start it at $199, and I will just not accept any offer that's not reasonable. I know someone was willing to pay $139 for it, so I'm just going to hold out, see what happens. There were a lot of watchers. Anyways, long story short, I listed on both Poshmark and eBay. So if it's on auction on eBay, I don't cross-list it to Poshmark. But in this case, since I was moving it to a buy it now with best offer on eBay, I thought, well, I'll throw it up on Poshmark too. Finally, I got it. Well, this guy was kind of a jerk. He offered me like, I don't know, $100, and I had it listed for $199. And so I just declined. I usually decline offers that are 50% my asking, 50% or less of my asking. I don't even counter. I have a markdown system, especially on eBay, where I take percentages off and I run promotions. So yeah, for me, I have a system to mark things down. But Anyway, so I just declined, and then he came back with 110, and then he came back with 120, and then finally he came back with 135, and I was like, sold. It's right there, close to what it was going to sell the first time. Slightly higher fees on Poshmark, but at least I know he's got to pay. And so that's sold, and I got that shipped off this week. Hopefully there's no weird thing that happens there, because it will be the curse of the hat, and I will definitely share with you guys if anything happens. But yeah, so that's been a few of my fun sales. What else is going on? We've got, looks like 7 minutes and 10 seconds left. Clearly I'm more productive when I'm not talking, but I'm just so excited about all these topics. Luna is not excited. This is usually when I'm outside playing with her. So when I'm done with this, that will be my break before it gets too dark. So let's see, I have, why is productivity kind of these top of mind things? So a couple months ago, I got my real estate license just to be part-time, not to replace reselling. I just like having a variety of things to work on. But I saw an opportunity here in the Tehachapi area where I live that there just wasn't a lot of video content on the area, on the homes here. It just wasn't a great representation of the area. And so I thought, well, I'm not afraid of YouTube. It might tank. There's no guarantee with anything that I do, but at least I'm confident making videos. And so I decided, I have a neighbor that's playing that, can you hear it? Probably not because I have the mic on. What's that thing, the Irish instrument where when you go to St. Patrick's Day and they play that, you know, and you like, anyways, he plays almost every day with the sunset. He's across the street and their house is a little tucked back. So he's not by no means close, but that instrument is so loud. And I actually just appreciate the quirkiness here of that kind of stuff. Anyways, it's going to come to me at like midnight of what that instrument is called, but you guys can leave it in the comments. Anyways, so I got the real estate license. It took me, you can't get it really any faster than 4 months. You have to take 3 college classes, then you have to take the state exam. You have to wait because there's a delay with that. Then you have to take the exam, then you pass, then you have to find a broker. I think I've already shared a lot of this, but in a sense, I spent about $2,000 on fees and all this classes and all of this test everything and association fees and all this stuff. I've spent about $2,000 in the first 4 months and time, and a lot of time to get it done. And so then you're like, okay, I kind of want to sell some houses at some point to make back my money. And I think my goal is really just like, if I could get to a place where I'm selling maybe like 1 to 2 houses a quarter, you know, every 3 months, I think I can manage that with reselling as is. And it would be fun. And I started that 3rd YouTube channel. That's been interesting and hard in and of itself. People don't necessarily understand what I'm doing, and they aren't responding to me. So it's been a lot harder to get homes to film than I expected, but I'm trying my best and I'm not going to give up. And I've gotten a few, which I'm so thankful for. And they've been fun to do. It's just fun to make different content and show the area. And if you guys have watched any of my videos and left me positive comments, it just means the world when you start something new and, you know, people are supportive. So I really appreciate it. But anyways, because of all that, because I'm spending all this time and this money and this energy on this new venture, it's kind of like eating up all my free time. And I'm just really worried about burnout and just, you know, with everything, with YouTube, with reselling, but I still need to pay my bills. And so I still need to get stuff done. So it's just been a lot of stress. And so one of the ways I've been trying to combat that stress for me has been, if I could just be more efficient with my time, be more disciplined, and have some structure so that I don't get distracted by looking at Instagram stories, which we're all guilty of doing, then maybe I can make this work. Maybe I can, until I sell a couple houses and actually start making my money back that I've spent, making some of this time worthwhile, you know, maybe if I'm more efficient with my time, I will be okay. I will get through this. And it's really paying off. It's really paying off. Like I said, this timer method, this Pomodoro method is really working out for me. I use a planner occasionally or notes like this just to jot down things. But honestly, I have this timer method. Basically, it could just be, Courtney, you need to get photos done. You need to get photos done. You need to get 15 photos done so that you can move on to the next thing. And instead of writing it on a list, I'm just going to set a timer and say, set a timer for 45 minutes, get it done. And then I know, like, okay, I'm going to work fast because I've got a timer staring at me. And it's just, I feel like this is going to someone as well, but I can't remember. Anyways, so I think that, you know, it's not that I set a timer for every 45 minutes of my day and take break. It's not that it breaks out that way. It's just when I know I need to get something done, I set a timer so it helps me stay focused. And then I know that I can go get, you know, a beverage refill, and I can go check my social media, and I can just go play with the dog when that timer's up. And it's just been really helpful for me. So that's the motivation behind these videos. But I thought if you guys want me to talk about a different topic, couple different topics that I have that I thought would be fun to do, and you guys can, obviously maybe I'll do the poll on Instagram if you guys like this style. Inventory, how long do I wait until I pull it? What do I do with inventory when I pull it? Do I do yard sales? Do I, you know, go to Plato's Closet? Any of that? Just talk about inventory system. When did I create mine? Why did I pick my style? Any complaints? Just talk about inventory management because I think it's really important. And I could probably talk about it for 12 years. And then eBay shipping, it's not that hard. I thought I'd talk about that. It's one of the biggest questions I get. I want to do eBay, but I'm so scared of the shipping. I don't know how to do it. And people ask me quite specific questions all the time, and I don't know how to help. So I thought, well, why not just talk about that while I'm working? In all separate videos. And still kind of chiming in with some of the, you know, kind of more what's going on in my week stuff, because I don't know, I think that's kind of fun too. Death piles. What do I think about them? Are they ruining your life? Are they good? Are they bad? You guys just saw one of my security pile up there. Pricing. So I have a theory that I think a lot of people spend way too much time doing research on pricing. And I would love to talk about that. And just the ins and the outs of how I price now versus how I priced when I first started reselling, etc. So I just think there's a lot of like different topics and questions I get all the time that would just be very easy for me to talk and work and get stuff done. And hopefully you're working with me and keeping me company, because that means a lot. And hopefully this style is a little more interesting to have playing while you're working. And hopefully I don't say anything too offensive. I mean, we all have a right to our own thoughts, you know. I'm not trying to bash Poshmark in this video, but I do think that 10 seconds, guys. Do we think we can do it? I cannot do this. I have so much lint rolling with this. But is it gonna go? I think my volume's off. My volume's off. That's why it didn't go earlier, because my volume's off. I'm gonna go and get one of those little, whatchamacallit, you know, the kind that you like used to have in the kitchen and you turn it. I'm gonna go get one of those tomorrow. So if I do this video again, we're gonna have a fun little timer that we can all use together. And it will go off alarmingly. But I had fun with this. I'm gonna finish up my pile right here and get this stuff packaged up. Please leave a comment below if you like this style, if you wanna see more of them, if you like this setup. I thought it would be fun to maybe do 25 minutes and a 5-minute break, which I guess technically I have 5 minutes to kind of cut out this video. The goal is that it would be approximately an hour-long video, and that you just know that you could flip it on and you could work with me, get some stuff done, and when we could just talk about different things every week. So that's the goal. I think that I am always trying to think of like, how can I combine things that are helpful for me into the YouTube space on this reselling channel. And this is one that I'm trying to figure out, and I would like to, and I think I can. But you know, one of the fun things about YouTube, when you get to this place where you have quite a bit of people following, when you try something, everyone sees you try, and even if it fails, and failure is good, failure is definitely good. But the one, I did remove that because I just don't think it's in the spirit of what people were expecting. So that's why I removed that video. I will link a channel that I like to watch and listen to while I'm working that plays a lot of that music. I referenced him in that video. His name is Study MD. So if you do want more of that style, he's studying to become a doctor, and so I'll link his channel below. But for right now, I think this might be a better style for me talking about reselling, talking about different topics, talking about my week and all the trials and tribulations of being a reseller, and also getting some work done with you. So I feel like that's it. I can't breathe. So we're just gonna call it quits right here. Enjoy the rest of your break. If you wanna get a timer and start using that method, I highly recommend it. If you just wanna do it with me while we're working, that's great too. I thought having two different things that I work on would keep it a little more interesting. Things that I can't do and talk at the same time is list. I can't type and talk at the same time. So, photos, shipping, organizing, some of that kind of stuff I feel like would be very easy, and I already have to do it. So anyways, I really appreciate you guys trying this out with me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.